I've unlocked every icon, hero, and legend in the game, and today we're putting them back into World Football right here in FC26. We'll be returning them back to their former iconic teams in their prime to see how they're going to compete in today's game. We'll see how they survive as free agents, see them hopefully get called up for the 2026 World Cup, and once they retire, see what kind of crazy regen spawn back into career mode. Forget Ultimate Team, today we're putting these former greats into the career mode gauntlet to see how they're going to survive the modern era. Can the ballers of the past handle modern football? And just for an example, here's Arsenal's team now with a bunch of their former stars back on the roster. You've got some of the Arsenal Invincibles, you've got heroes, icons, they're all here back at the Emirates. Mods are already here in FC26, so if you want to download them for free, check the link in the description to get access to fresh new FC26 mods, the first ones to drop so far, and never miss out on any new releases, as I'll be updating the mod list weekly with some of the best free mods that I find and you guys need to try. Certain teams are going to be more stacked than others when it comes to their icon list. Or in Everton's case, you've got two cult heroes, two prime Barclays men. But now we know the big clubs are going to be more stacked than ever. The icons have returned to cause chaos, and especially here at the likes of Liverpool, Man United. Not Man City, even though they've got a couple of additions of their own. But I think Man United and Real Madrid are the biggest beneficiaries out of this experiment. You've got the likes of Dimitar Berbatov, Van Nistelrooy, Rooney back at Old Trafford, so maybe they could finally start scoring goals. Bobby Charlton's here. George Best, icons from different eras and different time periods of world football. The glory days are definitely back with this squad file and these rosters activated. And don't you worry, we're going to be tracking all their careers to see how they perform, to see their impacts on the world game, thanks to the deeper simulation feature in FC26. So we're going to get a little bit more insight and really dig deep into the stats and performances that these icons are going to provide. We've also got the new icons in the game like Andreas Iniesta, the Lion himself Zlatan at PSG, World Cup winner Oliver Kahn, and Toni Kroos. Man, he only retired like 2 seasons ago. Some of these icon additions are just straight up making me feel like an unk right now. But it's about damn time the King of Rome, Francesco Totti, finally added as an icon in FIFA. And this is what I mean when I say we're going to have unprecedented access to all the player stats and performances, because we now have the ability to have up to 14 deeper simulated leagues in our game, or in career mode I should say. Like, the simulation might take a while, but we're going to get all the player stats, all the top goal scorers, and we're going to know how every single icon is performing at their respected clubs. So big ups to this mod, man. I knew it was possible. 5 simulated leagues ain't enough for us over here on PC, and there you go, we've got our 14 locked in, ready and loaded. Bro, I just love mods. I love PC gaming. And we're going to be taking over Manchester United as Ruben Amorim to see if he can turn around the ship with some of the best players in the club's history. How much impact are the icons going to have on the world of football now that they've returned? And are they going to fit in this 5-3-2 formation? Well, we can now fit Jaap Stam, Rio Ferdinand, and Nemanja Vidic all in the back line. Paul Scholes and Robbie Keane will be running the show in midfield. And we've got a front three of George Best, Eric Cantona, and David Beckham. If United can't win the title, or at least get top 4 now, like, something's got to be wrong. So let's get this simulation, this icons experiment underway. It's going to take me forever to simulate because we're kind of breaking the game with 14 simulated leagues running in the background. So drop a like on the video and hit subscribe if you want to see some more crazy FC26 modded content, because the mods this year are going to go off, trust me. And just look at the aura farming coming off this United team, fresh off the team bus. Yeah, bro, they're going to be a problem. FC26 has just dropped, and the start of the game grinds can be brutal sometimes. Whether it's unlocking rewards, completing the season pass, chasing coins, or just trying to level up your team faster, not everyone can spend 10 hours a day on the game just to stay on top of it all. That's where today's sponsor, Sky Coach, comes in clutch. It's a platform with pro players that can help you achieve your in-game goals quickly. Treat yourself to as many cheap, fast, and reliable FC26 coins as you need speed, because they offer premium account boosting and coaching so that you can actually enjoy the game without feeling like you're ticking off a checklist. And not just FC, but they offer a wide range of other games too. Trusted by over 150,000 gamers worldwide, it's super easy and safe to set up. Plus, you even get an instant refund if your order isn't fulfilled. Whether you want to sharpen your skills or skip the grinds, Sky Coach is the way to go. And your boys got you covered. Click the link in the description and use promo code BCHD at checkout for 10% off your order. And now, let's get back to the video. Now, there are a handful of players that didn't really have an iconic club to go back to, or they're just not in FC 26. Now, we've simulated forward a couple of weeks, and they have all found a new team with ease. Mikel Arteta has signed up Carlos Alberto for the Gooners. We've got Garrincha going to an already stacked Real Madrid icon squad. I don't even know if he's going to get game time, and they've already given him a £360 million release clause. The Russian shot stopper, the only goalkeeper to ever win the Ballon d'Or, Lev Yashin. He's going to be replacing Donnarumma in between the sticks at the Etihad, so he's getting the James Trafford treatment as it was Pele. The Brazilian king has signed for PSG, and to wrap it up, we've got the Saudi hero Mohamed Noor, who has signed for the Newcastle PIF. How fitting. Now, what about the actual transfers that went down this summer? Let's take a look and see if any icons made the move for a big money deal. We've got a hero here, Capdevila, the 2010 World Cup winner, off to Atletico Madrid for £96 million. We've got Rafa Marquez moving from Barcelona to Liverpool for 91.9. The first icon I see here is Gianluca Zambrotta from Juventus to Man City for 76.4 million. Ivan Cordoba, again, Arsenal buying another defender. The Colombian moves from Inter, and we've got Vicente Lizarazu. The Frenchman moves from Bayern to Juve, and that has been an action-packed summer so far. And I've got to say, even though we're simulating like 15 different deeper simulation leagues, the sim speed hasn't really been affected too much. I thought this would have taken ages or like 5 times longer, but no, the game seems to be handling it quite well. I am moved right now, but we got to check in and see who wins this Ballon d'Or here in 2025 with all these new icons back in the mix. And because we're running with so many simulated leagues in the background, the news feed and the social media is just clogged. I can't even see the top 4 Ballon d'Or nominees if I scroll all the way back, so that's a little bit of a problem. However, winning the Golden Ball, the best player in 2025, it's actually Ronaldinho. The 2005 winner does it again here 20 years later in 2025, and with ballers like this back in the world, back in their prime, it can even get better with 93 to 95 potential. These modern day stars don't stand a chance. And even though all the United legends are back here in Manchester, we've got an unexpected events here, the training injury clash between Paul Scholes and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. They're bringing some of that old school dog, that old school fight back into the first team, and it's come at a cost. Forget the Premier League Team of the Week, we have got the UEFA Team of the Year. We've arrived in 2026, and they have announced this icon influence team. There are only 4 current day players, including Jules Koundé at left back, Pedri, Lamine Yamal, and Erling Haaland up front. Meanwhile, we've got the Ballon d'Or winner Ronaldinho, Iniesta and Xavi in midfield, Franz Beckenbauer, Zanetti, Puyol, and Oliver Kahn in between the sticks, with a very familiar face in Vincent Kompany winning the Manager of the Year award. I mean, we don't have icon managers in the game yet, but I'm sure that'll be a feature in FC 27 later down the line. Now, this alone in of itself might be the most unrealistic thing that's happened in this video. Besides all the icons returning back to their primes and being 19 again, we've got David Beckham handing Florian Wirtz the Player of the Season award in the Premier League. So you just, I got no words, mate. I got no words. Mr. 007 himself has had the best year of his life in his career, and it's when all of the best players in the world have returned to world football. So Florian Wirtz is absolutely killing it in this simulation, and this video's got nothing to do about it, but I just found it so funny. Then we'll move on to all the rest of the leagues and all the rest of the competitions. As you can see, there is a lot of stuff to dig into here. We've got the Premier League Team of the Season with Haaland and Kenny Dalglish up top. we've got George Best in at right wing, Carlos Alberto and Ashley Cole are the two wing backs, and Fabio Carvalho and Cordoba are the two centre back pairings in what is quite a balance between present day players and icons. And who won the league? We have got up top, it's Liverpool with 88 points. Arsenal come through runners up in second, their favourite position, so that's realistic. Chelsea and Man City finish off the top four. Meanwhile, United, with all their returning legends back at the club, we've got the man himself, Eric Cantona, with his popped up collar and all, 35 goals and 12 assists, the main bagsman of the team. And it's good to see a proper number 9, a proper striker at the club, with George Best 23 and 6 on the right hand side, living up to the name being the best winger. You've got Matheus Cunha 19 and 4, he's hanging out with the big boys at the top, 23 goal contributions from their latest summer signing. Scholesy being one of the most consistent players on the paddock with 18 goals and 17 assists, double figures in both departments. That's lovely stuff. And the captain, Robbie Keane, 5 goals and 3 for him. David Beckham looked to come in off the bench, 4 goals and 9 for one of the class of 92's favourite sons. And Nemanja Vidic from the back with 2 goals. Rooney only managed some cameos in off the bench as Bobby Charlton, 24 appearances, 2 goals. So they still had some superstar power that couldn't really make too much of an impact in and off the bench. We got Spurs in 8th. Everton managed to only finish in 10th with Cahill and Tim Howard back, and getting relegated, it's Sunderland, Brentford and Burnley. Again, teams that didn't really benefit but were also kind of relegation contenders. West Ham actually just survived by 2 points. They had a few returning stars, including Joe Cole, who only made 7 appearances, 2 goals and 2 assists for the Englishman, and one of their stars from 66, the World Cup winner, the English captain, Bobby Moore, 38 appearances. He played every single minute, and I'm sure he was a big reason as to why the Hammers survived the drop. Wolves had Al Jaber. I don't know who this legend is, but we're going to find out. It's the Saudi striker Sami Al Jaber, 4 goals and 20 appearances to help the cause, and I'm sure he was a welcomed addition as Leeds stayed up comfortably. That was with the help of Harry Kewell, 9 goals and 4 for the Aussie. The Thunder from down under came through, and I'm sure was a welcomed addition to Ellen Road. Meanwhile, Fulham had Captain America himself, Clint Dempsey, returning, and he proved to be again one of their best players here with the top goal scorer, 12 goals and 3 assists, only missed 1 game, and in all competitions it was the exact same thing. But Clint Dempsey, again, the streets won't forget, he's a proper Barclays man. And what were Everton's cult heroes like? You had Tim Howard, who actually provided 3 assists. I know he scored a crazy goal from in between the sticks back in the day, a cross field goal that you remember, but 3 assists from goalkeeping is absolutely insane. And Tim Cahill, I'm sure many corner flags were punched here, with 12 goals and 1 assist for the Aussie striker, who can now say he's banged them in at Goodison Park and also the Hill Dickinson Stadium. Spurs had some famous names returning too, like Robbie Keane with 11 goals and 6 assists, the Irishman, who pretty much played every single match. And you've got David Ginola with 5 goals and 1. Ledley King managed to get on the score sheet from the back line, and in all competitions, Robbie Keane, 20 goals and 10. This is honestly one of my favorite features in FC 26. Just, you know, taking a look at every single team and all of their players' stats. Alan Shearer, the Barclays Premier League top goal scorer, 10 goals and 4 assists. So disappointing numbers for his standards. However, in all competitions, 12 goals and 6. Didn't really cover himself in glory there, but the Geordie boy back at St. James's Park and back amongst the action, as at Manchester City don't have too many icons to report on, but we'll take a look. And we have to scroll all the way down to Vincent Kompany at the back, 2 goals for the now Belgian manager at Bayern Munich. He's returning to the Etihad alongside Yaya Toure, 3 goals and 4. He was an absolute menace back in his day. And even though I'm a United fan, he was one of my favorite players. I couldn't help it. He was just so good. And Carlos Tevez was completely thrown to the wind. The disrespect from one of the most underrated Premier League stars of all time. And oh, of course, how could we forget Lev Yashin, 38 appearances and 12 clean sheets for the Russian shot stopper. Over at Chelsea, we've got Premier League ballers for days, and all of their contributions managed to get them up into third. 9 clean sheets for Petr Cech in between the sticks. And in terms of goals, it was still Cole Palmer tied up with Eden Hazard up front. 18 goals and 9 for the Belgian marvel, and man, he would have been a joy to watch alongside Cole Palmer. Nevertheless, they got some more stars stars here that need love, like Didier Drogba, 15 goals and 2 for the Ivorian. Got Ricardo Carvalho with 4 goals and 4 from centre-back. Decent numbers there. And Claude Makelele, 2 goals and 2. Frank Lampard wasn't a prominent figure. The Chelsea man himself, 1 goal and 3 in 23 appearances. Probably came off the bench a lot of the times, as 1 goal and 4 for Ashley Cole. Marcel Desailly got on the score sheet and provided an assist from centre-back. And Michael Essien, only 7 appearances. Not much game time for the Ghanaian midfielder. Again, another underrated Premier League baller, and in all competitions, it was 23 goals and 14 for Eden Hazard, 20 goals for Didier Drogba. And I believe this is a glitch, but I don't really understand how this average match rating thing works. It's just that stat, just ignore it. It's just completely bugged. Moving on to Arteta's runners-up. He's a specialist at not winning the league. And although they made some killer signings with some of their invincibles returning, 14 goals and 7 for Thierry Henry back up top, he got outscored by Leandro Trossard. Are you kidding me, mate? The Belgian with 22 goals and 10, completely outperforming everyone else. You had Patrick Vieira in the middle of the park, 4 goals and 1 in 33 appearances. Ivan Cordoba, another one of their hero summer signings with 4 goals. Robert Pires was completely benched, only 1 goal. He got benched by Trossard. Unbelievable. Tomasz Rosicky, only 1 goal and 1. Carlos Alberto pretty much played every single game in the Prem, as there was limited minutes for the likes of Dennis Bergkamp, Sol Campbell, Freddie Ljungberg, all relegated to the subs bench. And that was inevitably Arsenal's downfall as they fell to Liverpool. The champions with 88 points, they go back-to-back, and their top goal scorer, Kenny Dalglish, the Scotsman, with 30 goal contributions. Their club legend, the striker, has returned in the modern day and absolutely killed it. You had the player of the season, Florian Wirtz, 20 goals and 12 for the German playmaker. It would have been easier playing with some big boy icons like Xabi Alonso in the middle of the park again. It was an absolute stalwart for Liverpool back in the 2000s, and the Spaniard managed 3 goals and 3 from CDM, as Dirk Kuyt only 1 goal in off the bench as he acted as a super sub role. Oh, they've done their boy. They've done their club legend, the local lad dirty. Steven Gerrard, 19 appearances, 1 goal. The absolute disrespect for Stevie G. Well, you can't get worse than Ian Rush down here, the Welshman, with no appearances, no minutes, nothing. He got the same game time as Darwin Núñez. They were just spoiled for choice, weren't they? John Barnes on the left, Fernando Torres, Hugo Ekitike. Oh, who could forget Michael Owen, man? They had strikers in abundance. Local lad number 2, Jamie Carragher, got 15 appearances. Rafa Marquez also was involved, but yeah, a lot of legends not even needing to step onto the pitch as Liverpool took it out comfortably. Over in the Community Shield, it was Crystal Palace, just like in real life, winning 2-1. They didn't have any icons to their name, and they got the best over the champions, who went on to win it again. Over in the FA Cup, though, we've got Arsenal winning 3-2, so Mikel Arteta finally gets a piece of silverware in a 3-2 win over Liverpool. And they did the domestic double here, taking home the League Cup. The Carabao goes to Arsenal with a 4-0 win in a North London derby, humiliating Spurs there. And how has he done that? Leandro Trossard wins the Golden Boot. No, he's tied up top with Kenny Dalglish, 22 goals each in what is a low Golden Boot tally. Alexander Mitrovic scored 21 for Brighton. Erling Haaland, Jeremy Doku, all tied on 21 too. Some of these results are going to raise some eyebrows here. Eden Hazard managed 18. You've got Drogba scoring 1 more than Thierry Henry with 15. So some very strange results here in the top goal scorer charts. Same with the assists. I don't know why, for some reason this year when you check in on the clean sheets tally, it includes outfield players as well. I thought this was just a goalkeeper award, the Golden Glove award. What has happened to it? You can't even tell. Both Thibaut Courtois and Lev Yashin with 12, they should be tied Golden Glove winners, but when you include outfield players, I guess Carlos Alberto wins the Golden Glove in the clean sheets department. We had Federico Chiesa at 7.9 average match rating and only 2 appearances. Kenny Dalglish, though, wins it in terms of games played, 38 appearances, a 7.74 average match rating. Over in the Championship, we got 2 clubs to take a look at here, and it's Leicester who went on to win 114 points, finished on top like it was just another stroll in the park. And how much did Gary Lineker have to play in that affair. He scored 27 goals in 19 assists in 46 appearances. He absolutely balled out back at the King Power. Oh, those are some devastating numbers. He could be up there for the Ballon d'Or nominees next year. And someone else we've got to check in on is Stoke City, who have got the one and only 2-meter Peter up front. Peter Crouch returned to the Potters, and here at Stoke City, 19 goals and 8. He is 6'7", not really a sight you see too much in modern day football, but 28 goal contributions. I think that's very respectable as he managed to guide Stoke up into a playoff spot. Breaking news in Ligue 1, PSG don't win the league. It's actually Marseille with only one loss all season, 77 points on top. But there's a catch. They had 5 legends back in their roster, including Rudi Voller with 22 goals and 5 assists for the German sharpshooter. We've got Abedi Pele, the Ghanaian, scored 15 goals and 10 assists. So these two alone definitely carried them to a league title and dethroned PSG as Laurent Blanc, one of the best French defenders of all time, 2 goals and 2 assists for him. Jairzinho, how did he only manage 7 appearances, 1 goal and 2 assists off the bench? Absolute insanity here from the Marseille manager. Who knows what more they could have won if they actually used the icons to their advantage. But that's neither here or there, as over in second, runners up, it's Monaco with 73 points. And they also had some returning stars of their own, like Ludovic Guili with 14 goals and 6. Emmanuel Petit, 3 goals and 2 assists for him in all competitions. And Lilian Thuram with 1 assist from right back. In 43 appearances, now he can play up against both of his sons in the modern game. Now over to PSG, who signed Pele. They had Ibra as well. Like, what went wrong over here in the French capital? You had the big Swede returning, Zlatan, with 20 goals and 1. This mod actually brings back Neymar to PSG, 16 goals and 6 for him. We've got the Brazilian Prince returning to the game, and not even him could get them over the line and win them another French title here. And I just don't think the tactics or the formation or the system fit Pele in any way, shape or form. 15 appearances, 1 goal and 1 assist. Yeah, that is below par. For one of the greatest players of all time, that is just disrespectful. I don't know why PSG bought him if they don't even play with a cam. And it just proves why AI transfers and clubs buying players in career mode is still broken. They play with 3 center mids and Pele didn't get a sniff. And we'll wrap up in France with Olympique Lyon. They had Givoui, or Sydney Givou. I got no idea how to say his name, but 12 goals and 2 for the French striker. At least his team actually played him and got the most out of him. Nevertheless, over in the Bundesliga, we have got Bayern Munich back on top with so many of their iconic ballers back at the Allianz Arena. It was inevitable. With 85 points, they were 9 clear of Leverkusen, and here's a big reason why. Oliver Kahn, 34 appearances, 7 clean sheets for one of the most iconic German goalkeepers of all time. You still had one of their current stars, Jamal Musiala, 24 goals and 4. Gerd Muller, 16 goals and 6. For one of the greatest goal scorers of our game up front, 22 goal contributions. You had Franck Ribéry, prime Franck Ribéry, man, robbed of the Ballon d'Or, and he is back with a vengeance. 14 goals and 3 assists for him. Matthäus, 8 goals and 6 for him in 48 appearances, man. Bayern were competing and involved in multiple competitions. 3 goals and 1 for their favourite son, Philipp Lahm. And look at these two returning in midfield. Bastian Schweinsteiger and Toni Kroos, the new icon here in FC 26. They weren't the favourite starters by any means. Only 25 appearances for him. Schweinsteiger only got 6. But Franz Beckenbauer, De Kaiser with 1 goal and 3 assists from the back. I expect them to go far and be one of the favourites in the Champions League, as Bayer Leverkusen, they might be a train wreck in real life, but I'm sure they had a better time here as the returning Zé Roberto came back with 6 goals and 7 assists. The Brazilian absolutely teared it up in all competitions, nearly made 50 appearances. And the defender, the centre-back Lucio, 2 Brazilians in Leverkusen and 1 goal for him at the back, managed to sneak them up into second spot. I believe Dortmund only had 1, and he was just a hero returning back. It's the centre-back Jürgen Kohler with 2 goals in 38 appearances. Frankfurt couldn't crack into the top 4 again, despite them having some icons in their ranks, like the Korean striker Cha Bum-kun, 17 goals and 3 assists in the Bundesliga in all competitions, 26 goals and 4. He was on an absolute tear alongside the man so good they named him twice, JJ Okocha, the Nigerian magician, with 10 goals and 9. He's back in amongst it in the south of Germany, and yeah, those are some underrated ballers to have. But speaking of underrated, we have got the one and only Mario Gomez back at Stuttgart, 14 goals and 2 assists for the German up front, one of the most likable players of all time. And if you know, you know. This guy in FIFA 2013. I don't know what it was about him, but he had no haters. 20 goals and 4 assists. He can still do it in the modern era. He's kind of like the German Giroud. I don't know. I just came up with that now, but I think that fits his mantra. And World Cup top goal scorer Miroslav Klose returned to Werder Bremen, one of his famous clubs he played for. 14 goals and 4 assists for one of the most iconic German strikers of all time. The Bundesliga, man, it's been blessed with some big generational stars and 20 goal contributions in 34 appearances. And up next, we have got Serie A on our radar as the champions Juventus won with 88 points. The Bianconeri back on top of Italian football after so long with the return of Gianluigi Buffon. 12 clean sheets for the Italian legend, another player with absolutely zero haters, but the top goal scorer was actually their favorite son, Alessandro Del Piero, back amongst it, not only scoring goals but assisting them here in Torino. He also had Roberto Baggio, the one and only, helping him for the title cause. 11 goals and 15 assists. Maybe I should check the total team stats. And we can't forget a Ballon d'Or winner, I believe it was 2002 or 2003, Pavel Nedved with 10 goals and 4 assists for the Czech winger. One of the new icons in FC 26, Giorgio Chiellini, 5 goals and 2 for the Italian. Claudio Marchisio, the Prince, returns with 3 goals and 5. And moving further down, I know there's some more icons hiding here. Fabio Cannavaro, the only defender to ever win the Ballon d'Or. 1 goal and 1 assist for the Italian captain, the World Cup winner. We got to check in on runners-up again. Inter, back-to-back years where they've gone without the Scudetto, but Diego Milito, one of their best ever strikers in club history, 27 goals and 1 for the Argentine, up front with his fellow countryman Lautaro. That would have been a very interesting strike pairing to watch, as with Wesley Schneider, another big baller, robbed of the Ballon d'Or. 3 goals and 2 assists for him. Dead set, should have been an icon. He's only a hero, but he's a legend in my book nonetheless. Javier Zanetti, another Argentine at Inter with 3 assists from right back. And Maicon, how did they even play these two? Another big name right back, joining Man City when the transfer window opened, so he clearly put in a transfer request. What about Totti at Roma, finishing in 3rd place? Was he their main man? No, it was Dybala, 19 goals and 4 for him, but Francesco Totti in all competitions actually came out to be their top goal scorer, 24 goals and 13 assists. The Stadio Olimpico misses the likes of him and Daniele De Rossi, 20 goals and 1 assist from CDM. And they also had a helping hand from one of Japan's famous exports, Hidetoshi Nakata, 14 goals and 7 for the playmaker. And their 4th big icon addition, they love a Brazilian right back. They had Cafu, a World Cup winning captain with 1 goal and 3. And there's just one megastar I have to check in on. He's one of the GOATs, and even though they finished in 6th, Napoli, where is Diego Maradona? How did he perform back at his own stadium now? 14 goals and 12 assists for the Argentine, and in all competitions, 30 goal contributions for one of the GOATs. I'd do anything to see him ball out for the Partenopeo one more time, as he also was aided by Marek Hamsik in midfield. One of the most iconic 2010 Serie A ballers. Who could forget that Mohawk? The Slovakian with 4 goals and 3 assists was one of my favorite players growing up too. And you know Maradona's in town when Gianfranco Zola barely gets a sniff. 1 assist and 7 appearances in off the bench. You gotta feel sorry for him, because when the King's in town, everything stops. Lazio had an Argentinian duo of their own. I assume they're up in the top goal scorers. You've got Hernan Crespo, 9 goals and 3 assists, and Juan Veron with 5 goals and 3 from the middle of the park. And in all competitions, yeah, they were a very nice addition to have to the team, but couldn't really guide them and carry them into the top 4. Meanwhile, in Milan, it was icons galore. It's raining icons at the San Siro, with Marco van Basten, 17 goals and 3 in all competitions. Shevchenko up front with 11 goals and 1. Andrea Pirlo, quite controversially, being back here in red and black, 7 goals and 6, alongside Modric in midfield. That is one classy midfield duo. You've got Paolo Maldini, 4 goals and 3 from centre back. Oh, this icon list, man, there is just some insane names. Franco Baresi, 3 goals and 2. Frank Rijkaard. You've got all of their club legends back in action, including the now Italian head coach Gennaro Gattuso. 1 goal for him in 33 appearances. He was an absolute dog in midfield. Kaká only managed to be a super sub in off the bench with 1 assist in 26 appearances. Nesta managed 2 assists from the back. But yeah, another Ballon d'Or winner here, with unable to find space in the first team because there's just that much quality. Yeah, I'm sure Bobo Natale's goals kept Udinese up. How many did he score this season? 7 goals and 5 assists for him in Serie A. Oh, and they also got Zico. Okay, Calm down, Udinese. 91 rated Brazilian back up north with 11 goal contributions. Over at Cagliari, we don't really have a club legend, more of a FIFA / Ultimate Team legend in Victor Ababo. 10 years back in FIFA 15, this guy was one of the best players in the game because he was lightning fast. 21 goals and 2. Back in his prime, just imagine if Cagliari kept a hold of him. Fiorentina had a mediocre season for their standards, couldn't crack into the top 7. As a Brazilian, Socrates couldn't help their cause. 15 goals and 17 assists for the 1980s baller in all competitions. And they also had Rui Costa, but because two of their icon stars were both attacking midfielders, I guess Socrates ate into his game time and he only managed 4 goals and 1 assist in 35 appearances. And you've got Parma cracking the top 10, up in 9th thanks to 2 men and 2 men only. Thomas Brolin and the forehead Gervinho. A part of that iconic Barbo, Gervinho and Dumbia front 3, 12 goals and 6 for the Ivorian. And it brings a tear to the eye that Gianluca Vialli nearly brought Sampdoria back up to Serie A, losing out in the promotion playoff final. It's got a sting, but 19 goals and 8 assists for the club icon is always going to be appreciated. The Eredivisie actually had some solid ballers back at their hometown clubs, like RVP, Robin van Persie. His son's at Feyenoord in real life right now, and he started his career here. 30 goals and 10 assists in all competitions, 45 appearances. That's one solid campaign for the Dutch finisher. They managed to win the league with these goals, and it was quite a close contest between them and Ajax. A big title race up front with 5 clean sheets for Edwin van der Sar in the middle of the sticks. Patrick Kluivert also returned to the start of his career at Ajax, 13 goals and 4. Jari Litmanen with 12 goals and 9. And you'd think they have way more superstar players and icons back in the team, but they just weren't able to string it together, and Johan Cruyff not playing a part probably had a lot to do with it. Imagine if he actually started and didn't just make appearances off the bench. 5 goals and 1 assist only in 16 appearances. Underutilized and benched for the majority of the season due to their formation, but PSV were nowhere near it. They were far off the beaten track. They had some icons returning like a Ruud Gullit. Those giant locks, that giant throw wasn't enough to get them in a competent title race. 8 goals and 4 for him. You can't expect him to do it all alongside DeMarcus Beasley. And for some reason, I can't check in on Spain. La Liga, even though I selected it, for some reason, it's just not popping up in the simulated competitions. And then if I head to the other leagues, I can only see the Spanish second tier, La Liga Hypermotion. So I feel like I got robbed here. I can't even check in on Real Madrid and Barcelona, which is kind of a letdown. It must be a glitch with the mod. I'm not quite sure. The only thing left is Liga Portugal, where we've got Braga winning the league. What? Excuse me? It looks like they're only halfway through the season, as we've only got 2 icons to check up on here. It's Eusebio at Porto. He's in the way currently with 13 goals and 4 assists. I don't know why, but their proper league season isn't showing up, or they're still halfway through the season, which I don't understand. It could potentially be another glitch here in FC 26, but as we move forward, we've also got Quaresma at Porto. He doesn't seem to be playing whatsoever. He is 3 goals and 1. It looks like off the bench only. Another league halfway through the campaign is the MLS, and over at the LA Galaxy, we have Jorge Campos, the Mexican goalkeeper. 5 clean sheets for him, but Landon Donovan, the OG Captain America, with 11 goals and 1 assist. We'll start off with the Conference League, where it was Fiorentina on penalties to beat Chelsea. Roma won the Europa League with a 2-1 win over Ajax as Totti, De Rossi and co. They managed to win some European silverware in the capital, and it was Real Madrid to take down Arsenal in the big dance. After it finished 2-2, it was a 9-8 penalty shootout win in what would have been an enthralling match. It looks like Real Madrid's Galacticos got the better over Arsenal's Invincibles, and Mikel Arteta still couldn't win the Gunners a European trophy. Mbappe managed to outscore all the icons, but it's R9 Ronaldo who came through with 6 goals and 2 assists in the UCL. Back in the competition, Zizou, 5 goals and 1 for the French poster boy, as Luis Figo and Steve McManaman both on the right with 1 goal each. And I mean, it's hard to really fit in all of these superstars. 1 goal and 1 for Roberto Carlos, just like Michel Salgado. And when you've got all this superstar power like Real Madrid, you're going to see the likes of Gareth Bale not even get a sniff. Even though he scored one of the best Champions League final goals of all time for Real Madrid, he is nowhere near the starting 11 in this campaign. And again, he joins the bench like Ferenc Puskás. Garincha only made appearances in off the bench. Raul didn't get a sniff either. Marcelo, I'm assuming, was a super sub too. Now, this is the problem when you got too many ballers. It's hard to show them all love and give them all equal play time. As we're going to take a look at Barcelona. Their top goal scorer in the Champions League, Hristo Stoichkov, one of the best Bulgarian players of all time, 7 goals and 3 assists for the superstar striker. Rafinha still up there, but Mikel Laudrup returned to the Camp Nou with 3 goals and 3. He had Xavi and Iniesta back control in the midfield. Tiki-taka was back. 2 goals and 2 for Xavi, and Iniesta with 1 goal in the Champions League. Rivaldo was benched by Rafinha. Lamine Yamal with donuts all across the board. Ronald Koeman's also back at Barca. Carlos Puyol played every single minute. And why not? Let's check in on Atleti. They didn't have too many iconic players, as Hugo Sanchez up front with Julian Alvarez is one of the weirdest strike duos I've ever seen, but I mean, that would be fun to watch. 8 goals and 3 for the Mexican goal-getter. Wow, they had Paulo Futre, only 1 appearance at left wing, and also Capdevila with 16 appearances. He was a mainstay in the team. Now we've got the 2026 World Cup up next. So let's see how many icons got called up. What nation is going to be crowned world champion in 2026 with our own icons and heroes sprinkled in? The only thing that's killing me is that it's not going to be the proper World Cup with the 48 teams and all the qualified nations. So we're going to have to put an asterisk here, but this is how the 2026 World Cup looks with icons back in the mix. We had the Netherlands top in Group A with 7 points as Leo Orange made it out with Czechoslovakia. You had Qatar and Croatia both bow out as France topped the group here with 7 points alongside Scotland, Hungary, and Mexico, who were just flat out eliminated. We had a little group of death here in Group C with Spain, Germany, and the 2022 semi-finalist Morocco. The European nations prevailed here, and Group D was Portugal on top. Ronaldo still on the hunt for a World Cup with all the Portuguese icons back in the national team. We've also got the 3 Lions and the USA in the same group again. 7 points between them sees them in first and second spot. Meanwhile, Italy actually qualified for this World Cup with 7 points topping the group. Iceland in second beat out Argentina. Oh my gosh, 3 points for them in an absolute terrible display, but they could have qualified in third place. As we take a look at the round of 16, where we have a few more definitive answers here. Czech Republic, Pavel Nedved is carrying his side to glory here. In a 3-2 win versus Spain, knocking them out. France got it done over Romania. Ghana knocked out CR7. So the Africans end Ronaldo's World Cup dream, as Argentina win it out on penalties against the Netherlands, who topped Group A. Scotland got defeated by Italy. Iceland were eliminated by the US. England got a narrow 1-0 win versus Norway, and Germany throttled Croatia 3-0. Over in the quarterfinals, it was France to end Czech Republic's dream run. The Argentinians got a 2-0 win versus Ghana, and Italy knocked out against the US 2-0. Oh, that is a huge shock there, as it was Germany v England, the old rivalry at it again, but the 3 Lions with a 3-2 win. And the semi-finals saw both France and the US prevail 3-2 in both their games, knocking out England and Argentina. It was a 3rd place finish for the South Americans in another 5-goal thriller, and that set up the final for France versus the US in 2026. And it's the 2-1 win for Les Bleus, winning another World Cup crown. They're the champions with their 3rd trophy up against the US, who on home soil made an absolutely insane run. Who are their top goal scorers? What's the situation here? Landon Donovan had the tournament of his life, 6 goals and 3, alongside Pulisic, alongside DeMarcus Beasley. This is a dark horse host nation run. What an inspirational run. They still had Clint Dempsey in and off the bench with 6 appearances. But how could you compete up against France, who literally have all the firepower, have all the talent, a Ballon d'Or winner, a present-day Ballon d'Or winner with 5 goals, Ousmane Dembele, alongside Mbappe. They didn't even need their icons like Thierry Henry, like Lizarazu, like Thuram, Desailly, Ribéry. The list goes on and on and on. Zidane even, only with 1 assist off the bench. They've got too many star players in too many of the same positions. 8 years on from 2018, they win it all again, and this time with some of their old boys to get in amongst it, some of them who never won a World Cup. And the Golden Boot winner was actually Landon Donovan on home soil. He gets to take home a personal accolade. In equal second, it's both Dembele and Saka with 5 goals. Abedi Pele for Ghana carried them, 4 goals for him in 5 appearances. DeMarcus Beasley up there with 4 goals, and the Americans really had an insane tournament to remember. 3 goals each for both the new icons in FC 26. Iniesta for Spain and Totti for Italia. You had Dalglish up there with 3 goals. Gary Lineker carrying over that goal-scoring form. Thierry Henry, Lionel Messi still kicking around. Is CR7 Ronaldo in here whatsoever? We might have to check, but Messi couldn't go back-to-back with Argentina. You had Alan Shearer, Shevchenko, Dennis Bergkamp, all netting 2 or more. In amongst the assists, it's Ferenc Puskás. You've also got Gerd Muller up there with 3, tied on top. Did CR7 even get called up? Has he retired from international football or what? I don't even think he's here. Oh no, he is. He just didn't get any minutes whatsoever. He was benched by Eusebio. And fair enough, right now in his career, in his prime, he trumps him in every single area. And the Dutch, man, how did they crumble in the round of 16 after such a promising start? They go again empty-handed without a World Cup title. Johan Cruyff actually was playing. 2 goals and 1 assist for both him and Dennis Bergkamp. And there is your 2026 World Cup team of the tournament with Thierry Henry and Mbappe up front. You got Landon Donovan in the middle of the park with Johnny Cardozo, and Lizarazu made it in at left back. Meanwhile, it's pretty much all current day players, with Zinedine Zidane righting the wrongs of 2006. 20 years later, he gets a second bite of the cherry and gets to lift his second World Cup. He's redeemed himself despite only getting 1 assist. He gets another Champions medal, as France will be a World Cup 2026 champions if icons in their prime were allowed to return. Just take a look at what happens to the national team selections once you load up this icon squad file. Go to your national squad selection, and as soon as you head in, you're gonna see the difference straight away, with Diego Maradona, Javier Zanetti, Tevez, Milito, Mascherano, Riquelme all back in the national team selection. You had the golden trinity of Petr Cech, Pavel Nedved, and Rosicky carrying the Czech Republic to a quarterfinals berth in 2026. England are fairly decorated themselves with their own list of icons, so I'm surprised they didn't go further. Yeah, with France, we all know the quality and talent in abundance they have, so there's no secret as to why they won the World Cup in 2026 with all those players returning. Same deal goes with Germany, man. Like, I actually can't believe it. You'd be familiar with these names if you've watched my Resimulation World Cup series, so make sure to go check that out if you haven't. But the national team pools just get blessed, and you can really see the type of icons on display. If only we had more national teams, man. When you see what kind of players the Dutch got back, you're left there scratching your head as to how they were knocked out in the round of 16. Even Northern Ireland get one. Like, it is just such a cool squad file, especially for international fantasy management, if you will. And because all the icons have their ages reset back to 19, that means that they haven't retired from international football, and they actually get the call up in career mode. They don't actually carry their real world ages into the game. Thanks to this squad file and this roster, not all icon squad files do that, so it's cool to see. Otherwise, I don't think we would have seen many icons participate in the World Cup whatsoever. And let's see how much of an impact the World Cup of 2026 plays on the Ballon d'Or winnings, as the top 4 nominees are out. It's Ronaldinho again, trying to go back to back. We've got Mbappe with a World Cup win, R9 Ronaldo with the Champions League win, and Dalglish fresh of being the top goal scorer in the Prem. So it's all up for grabs. It's a 4-horse race. And I mean, Ronaldinho, Brazil weren't in the World Cup, so he doesn't really have a pot to piss in. So we'll see what gets appreciated more. And it looks like it's R9 Ronaldo who's taken it home. Another real life winner who wins it again in the modern day. He had the Real Madrid Champions League win on his resume, scored a bunch of goals. So it looks like the World Cup was a non-factor in this decision. And that means it's back-to-back Brazilians who have taken home the golden ball. There was also another icon simulation that I ran just for the fun of it to see what kind of results would differ. Arsenal actually won the league over Liverpool in what was an extremely tight 3-horse title race up until the last day. Man United finished in 4th, but the top goal scorer charts is where you really see a difference here. You've got all the icons scoring more goals. Obviously, Didier Drogba with 27, but Kenny Dalglish is up here again, followed by Thierry Henry. Erling Haaland is the only current day player. And then you got Robbie Keane at Spurs, Alan Shearer. The icons really showed up and dominated the top of the charts in terms of assists. Leandro Trossard is just inevitable in FC 26 career mode. I don't know what it is about him. And Fabian Schär somehow managed 10 assists from centre back. Now the next experiment experiment that we're going to give a spin here in FC 26 is every single icon and hero being in the free agency. Here they all are in the free agents, and we've got, what, 12 pages, 11 and a half of icons. They are all right here as free agents, ready to be signed by any and whatever club that can pay their wages. And we've got some big boy names, some generational super ballers, some Ballon d'Or winners, World Cup winners, Champions League winners, you name it, they're here. And they're all available on a free. However, this time they actually keep their ages. So right now, Maradona would be 64 if he was still alive today. Just like Pele, he would be 84 today. Let's see someone still alive, still with us. Zinedine Zidane, he's currently 53. So they're going to take all these ages into world football, into career mode, and let's just see what kind of chaos unfolds in the transfer window. And I'm also keen on checking in on their regens once they finally hang up the boots and retire. We have got every single free agent icon right here listed in the transfer hub, so we'll be tracking them. They're all in the free agency, and we'll keep tabs on their every move to see who goes where. We've already got a transfer here of Birgit Prinz. Yes, we've got even some women icons involved. The party's already been started, but take a look at this ginormous list of players we've got. It's an absolute blessing to have every single icon and hero in FC 26 career mode, and seeing a 98-year-old Ferenc Puskás, a 91-year-old Garrincha, and a 78-year-old prime Johan Cruyff never gets old. Now, we've hit the end of the season. It's the last day of the season, and we're going to check in on our free agent icons and see who's actually found the club, who's got employment here. We do have an almighty list to go through, so I'm not going to go through them one by one. And at the top, we've got Pele, who's moved to Arsenal. Mikel Arteta is signing up these icons for fun. The Brazilian World Cup king to replace Odegaard in that number 10 spot. We've got Ferenc Puskás, who has come through for Aston Villa. Ronaldinho signed for Liverpool. Diego Maradona moves to Manchester City. And Lev Yashin this time is off to Newcastle United. Garrincha moves to Spurs. Johan Cruyff signs for PSG. And it's R9 Ronaldo to do the biggest snake move, a dog act, leaving behind the Galacticos and joining the other side of town, Atleti. In a bit of a trader Figo type move, we've got Paolo Maldini at Barcelona. Zizou has ended up back at Real Madrid. And we've got this little contingent of women icons. For some reason, they have all decided to sign for this Japanese club. I don't even know, SFC. No, actually, they're from the Chinese Super League, Shanghai Shenhua. I've got no idea why they all just decided to go there in a group. They've made some sort of secret pact. They're not in the starting 11 though, so that's probably a bit worrying, but they have given the team a 5-star rating in the league. The rest of the list have not found a club. The free agency with all the icons and heroes is still at large, so we're going to go in strong into season 2 with hundreds of players still looking for a team. Oh no, hold on, we've scrolled right to the bottom where Pavel Nedved has signed for FC Andorra in the 2nd division. The newly promoted side in La Liga Hypermotion have signed a Ballon d'Or winner. How have they pulled that one off? With the help of PK. So we'll see what ends up happening with the transfers, any retirements, any regens in season 2. I am not stopping until every single icon here finds a club. Oof, that's gotta sting. Real Madrid fans, look away. This is just a kick in the guts if I've ever seen one. R9 is absolutely shameless. Now we're at the end of season 2 here, May 2027, and we're entering back into our icons free agent list, and we've got a whole bunch of new players that have found clubs, like Andreas Iniesta at Tottenham, mate. You had all the choices in the world, all the offers, and he decides to join Spurs at 43. Yeah, I don't know who his agent is, but he's stuffed that one up. Dennis Bergkamp off to Portugal, playing for Sporting. He's trying to be the Gyökeres replacement, as Carlos Puyol ends up in Spain again, this time for Real Sociedad. We've got Butragueno here for Villarreal, and Gary Lineker has ended up at Brighton instead of Leicester. We've also got Raul in here at Nottingham Forest, playing for Big Ange. What a signing that is for the Reds, but in terms of, okay, we've got even more. Sorry, Rivaldo off to Lazio. I mean, they did have a transfer embargo in real life. They couldn't spend any money, so this free agent tactic might do wonders for them, as Andrea Pirlo, he is off to Bayer Leverkusen. So many new transfers in season 2. Finally, the wheels are starting to turn here, with Xavi joining R9 Ronaldo at Atleti, not going back to their former teams, trying out something different, and they're low-key building a super squad over there at the Wanda Metropolitano. We've got Roberto Baggio at Napoli, and he's looking thick in FC26. I don't know what his body type is, but he is so wide. It is just disproportionate to the rest of his head, I guess. We've got Thierry Henry. The Frenchman has dodged the Gooners, and he is a top-tier mercenary now, going to their rivals. Meanwhile, we've still got Petr Cech and Iker Casillas, who have been free agents for 2 seasons now. Oh my days, this Chinese Super League team, where are they getting this money from? They have picked up Oliver Kahn. They are on a tear. Shanghai, they know how to do transfer business with free agents, and these storylines continue to get weirder and weirder as we scroll on down to David Ginola, who is signed for RB Leipzig. Robin van Persie is now offered to Celta Vigo. Such a random move. But hey, game is game, as we also have Miroslav Klose joining Fulham, trying his luck out in the Premier League at 48 years of age. FC26 newest icon and youngest icon. He wants to build a club up from nothing. He's moved to CD Mirandes over in the second tier of Spain, and because he is under 40, he's actually deteriorating at a rapid rate. He has dropped down to an 82 rating in 2 seasons, and he's still only 37, so he could get worse from here, but he's still valued at £36 million. Meanwhile, we have Kaká moving to the south of France and joining up Monaco with quite possibly the longest football shorts in the world. Got Zlatan Ibrahimovic. He has moved to the Turkish Super League and signed up with Galatasaray. That transfer move alone would send Istanbul into raptures. Oh my gosh, CD Mirandes, if they don't get promoted to La Liga at this rate, they have signed Emmanuel Paty to link up with Toni Kroos in midfield. What a duo, man. As Lothar Matthäus joins AC Milan, we've also got Socrates to sign for Atletico Bilbao. I didn't know he was Basque. Marco van Basten has opted to join PSG. Again, the French are loving these icon signings. We've also got Kenny Dalglish at Crystal Palace. Kicking it about in South London, as we have Enzo Francescoli moving to the south of England with Bournemouth as he becomes a cherry. A lot of Premier League clubs taking advantage, like West Ham signing Laurent Blanc. The Hammers getting a much needed French defender in their ranks to help them survive, as it's Abdi Pele going straight for the money. He's off to Saudi, joining Al Hilal, and the Ghanaian isn't messing about. He wants his pay packet in the modern day, as back in the day, stars like Jairzinho, Eusebio were barely paid anything in comparison to what superstars of today get paid. Anyway, he's off to Frankfurt. We've got Eusebio at Barcelona. Gianluigi Buffon, for the first time in his career playing outside of Italy, he's signing up for Bayern, and Franco Baresi is going to be an Aston Villa centre-back. This career mode universe is absolutely crazy, as Zico is signed for Newcastle. Big money signing for them. And we've got Ferenc Puskás, who's hit the century. He's now 100 years old, up front for Aston Villa. Arsenal couldn't get enough with Pele. They've signed up Gerd Müller. That's destined to be one of the best attacks in the world. You've got George Best signing up for Juventus, as Man City decided to poach Bobby Charlton. Yeah, we're talking about trader moves. We've seen it happen all across the board. This one's got to be up there with the worst one of the lot. It just doesn't look right seeing Bobby in light blue. No, get him back in red. Get it off my screen. As Johan Cruyff is picked up by PSG, he's going to be balling out in France. And Bobby Moore is another one over in Ligue 1. He's gotten picked up by Marseille. Ooh, this one's a big signing. Franz Beckenbauer, a masterstroke from Liverpool, as he will be playing his football on Merseyside. Carlos Alberto has gone to Inter. And for the rest of them, no. Oh my gosh, CD Mirandes. What billionaire has bought you? Where did you pull this money from? They are turning into Icons FC, with their latest acquisition being Wayne Rooney, lured to the second division in Spain. What are they giving you over there? This is levels of greed the Bible warned us about. What is going on here with this Spanish club, as Eric Cantona is off to Seville. He opts to play for Real Betis, and I think, no, we've got more. Alessandro Del Piero, season 2 has been absolutely insane. The Turkish league get another baller in Del Piero, and we've got even more news here with Roberto Carlos moving to Bergamo, and the signings keep on coming here. Borussia Dortmund bought Cafu. Schmeichel is now playing for Benfica. We've got Jurgen Kohler, who becomes a Galactico for Real Madrid, and Ruud Gullit, he's back in Italy, this time playing for Roma. And the main beneficiaries out of this icon experiment is got to be that team in the second tier of Spain. Let's check in on Mirandes to see if they fought for promotion. No, they are nowhere near I thought they would be top 3 easy, and they're what, 18th? 40 points with like 4 icons in the squad. They nearly got relegated to the 3rd tier. We had Nedved Andorra. He's finished 2nd last. And there you go. I guess money doesn't buy you success in football. What is going on at that club? Maybe they're just there for retirement. Maybe they're just there for a paycheck, as Emmanuel Petit and Rooney are the only 2 icon starters for them. Now, didn't even have to force them to retire or anything, but we've got to say goodbye to a couple of icons here, because at the end of Season 2, Ferenc Puskás is hanging up the boots here. As the game's confirmed it, that could be a little sneaky feature that EA have added in that, again, no one has really talked about, because as soon as you hit 40, if you were still in the game, basically you never retired. Or it's above 50 or something like that. A certain age players hit where they just wouldn't retire. But now in FC 26, that seems to be fixed, even though Bobby Charlton isn't retiring at 89, but we have a bunch of players that won't be continuing on in Season 3, which means we can see the regens of the likes of Pele, we get to see Johan Cruyff's regen, and the one and only Diego Armando Maradona. So yeah, Season 3 is going to be even more hectic. And I've only just noticed this, but also Zinedine Zidane and R9 Ronaldo, 2 Real Madrid legends, are also hanging up the boots. Ooh, and also Ronaldinho at Liverpool. We're going to see regens galore in Season 3. I'm just salivating thinking about it. The question is though, how overpowered are regens going to be in FC 26, or just how overpowered are regens in general this year in career mode? Are they going to be absolutely cracked in off the bat? Are icon regens going to be at least a little bit more balanced this year? Let's find out as this icon career mode world football universe just gets tastier. Now, I'm going to do my old reliable trick here to find a regen. Let's say, for example, we want to find Ferenc Puskás's regen. I've got to go off to the league he last played in, the Premier League. I've got to look up his position, so he was a striker. I need to find someone who is 16 to 21 years of age and who is also Hungarian. This is the regen method. If you want to find them, if you know a high-profile player has just retired, these are the search terms. This is the data you need. It should come up with a Hungarian, a young Hungarian striker, Aron Hajdu. The 18-year-old, he's already 83 overall, 90 to 96 potential, and has just spawned into world football with the chip shot, power shot, first touch play styles, and Arsenal have gotten him an advanced forward plus. How has he landed at the Emirates? Man, this kid is, going to be the next Ferenc Puskás, and is still only a teenager, so yeah, there you have it. The method still works. Icon regens are just ridiculously broken. They are cracked off the bat. Robert Lagunov at Wolverhampton Wanderers. He's the incarnation of the man himself, Lev Yashin, with 90 to 96 potential at 19 with the 1v1 closed down play style. He's already 84 overall, and he has potential to be special, of course. Now we've got an entire suite of icon regens to track, and look at where some of these have ended up. We have got Wellington Assis, who is Ronaldinho's regen at West Ham. Also Emerson Marquez, who is Pele's regen, ended up at Newcastle, already 89 overall at 18, but funnily enough, he is the only regen out of the lot to spawn in without any playstyles. Also Emmanuel Petit's regen with no playstyles, but somehow spawned back in at the club he retired at, which I've never seen before, with an insane name coming in at 6'6" with white hair. Otavio Simoes is Garincha's regen at Bournemouth. He is looking like an absolute baller with some insane physical attributes like balance, agility, sprint speed, and acceleration all above 90. We've got Pietro Conti at Alaves. He is Maldini's regen, and he just looks like a defensive unit, still only a teenager and considered one of the world's best. We also have someone else who we didn't really touch on. It was Zidane's regen. He's ended up at Barcelona with the game changer playstyle. I believe that one's new in FC 26. So Nicolas Pereira, the French cam, I'm sure he's going to show us what it's all about as Murilo Mesquita, Brazilian striker at 6'3" with physical greens in every single attribute. This is R9's regen, who's got the rapid and press proven playstyles. We've also got Maradona's regen, who spawned in at Brentford, Matteo Pizarro, dead ball and tiki-taka playstyles. I wonder how long he's going to last over there at the G-Tech. Again, some of these regens are only coming in, like the oldest is 19. For Season 3, as we're going to continue monitoring all the other Icon free agents. Now, is this a campaign where every single Icon and hero have found a club to play at? As we'll start off with some new transfers here. We've got Iker Casillas, the Spanish shot stopper who's landed at Chelsea. We've got the Chelsea legend Petr Cech, who has signed up for Eintracht Frankfurt. Alessandro Nesta has finally been poached, and this time it's by PSG. Ruud van Nistelrooy is at Atletico Madrid after R9 Ronaldo retired. They found their replacement. Atleti are out here Icon shopping only. As we move on over to Javier Zanetti, who is at Borussia Dortmund. Samuel Eto'o has been poached by Aston Villa as Ferenc Puskás retired. So again, they found their Icon replacement on a free, remember, as Stoichkov. He's been picked up by Inter with the low driven shot plus. That would be extremely overpowered in game. I love me some low driven shots. As Stevie G, I didn't know Stevie G had a bit of bask in him, but he's moved to Athletic Bilbao. Francesco Totti's no longer a one-club man. He has moved up north from the capital and joined Atalanta. Frank Lampard, at nearly 50 years of age, has joined Wolves on a free. A big pickup for them as Roma have signed Rio Ferdinand. I don't know if that's going to make up for Francesco Totti slipping away from them, but Xabi Alonso is back in the Premier League. This time, he's found a club at Fulham, and Fernando Torres gets added to the traitor list as the Spaniard has opted for the other side of Merseyside. He's ditched Anfield and he wants to play at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. We've got Philipp Lahm signed by Arsenal. Mikel Arteta just loves signing Icon right backs. First it was Carlos Alberto, now it's Philipp Lahm, who sees no signs of deteriorating. Giorgio Chiellini was approached by Barcelona and he took the bait with the Bruiser Plus playstyle. I've never seen a man deserve it more, as Nemanja Vidic is off to Benfica to play under Jose Mourinho. That would be a deadly partnership. Brentford have gotten some Icons and Icon regens because Luis Hernandez also joins the cause. Marcelo, another new Icon. I think the last FC26 Icon to find a new club. He is now at Girona, back up in the top flight. I told you Toni Kroos would hit below 80, and at 38, is he retiring this season? No, he's still too important for the club. We've had a Rayo Vallecano opt for Davor Suker up front. Big purchase from them. What else has happened down here? We've got Gianluca Zambrotta now at Wolfsburg, and Ian Wright moves to Italy. The Englishman leading the line up front for Bologna. Now, what else is in store for us here? I'm struggling to find any free agents as Michael Laudrup joins Raul at Nottingham Forest. I think this one might be the one as we continue to see player after player find a club. It's only taken 3 years, but finally, clubs have delved into the Icon free agency as a 60-year-old Fernando Hierro will be signed up by La Viola Fiorentina. That's a brilliant purchase from them. George Hagi moves to the South Coast and signing for the Cherries. And Rudi Voller has found a home at Tottenham alongside Xavi. Frank Rijkaard's at Marseille. Papin has moved to Man City. As we reach the bottom of the list, we've got Frank Ribéry joining Zlatan at Galatasaray. Man, I feel like the fans would get amongst them and that they would fit the Turkish league so well. As Robbie Keane, the Irishman, he's off to Saudi. Not many of the Icons have opted there, only 2 so far. Joe Cole has joined Sporting Lisbon in an interesting move. Ashley Cole's at Villarreal. Michael Owen has joined West Ham. Freddie Ljungberg's at PSV. Meanwhile, we've got Eden Hazard, who was a free agent for the longest time. And of course, he is under the 40-year-old range, so he's hit with the deterioration curse. He's now down to an 81, and it's probably going to get worse from here on out. But Luis Figo is at Liverpool. We've got Shevchenko at Napoli. And Michael Essien moves to the Black Cats. What a pickup from Sunderland. Him and Xhaka in midfield would be amazing to watch on match day, as Gianfranco Zola has been picked up by Stuttgart. We've got Roy Keane at Stade Rennais. Another big baller off to Saudi. Hernan Crespo has joined Al Ittihad. We've got Jamie Carragher ditching his one-club man status and joining Valencia over in Spain. We've got Alan Shearer at Bayern Munich, a perfect partner for Harry Kane up front. And Brighton have picked up a 53-year-old David Beckham, going against their mantra of Moneyball FC, but hey, David Beckham's David Beckham. I think everyone's got a club, baby. I think we've got a winner, and there we have it. Season 3, every single Icon is at a club now. They are no longer cursed in the free agency. I told you I wouldn't leave until the free agency got wiped, and now all the Icons and heroes have clubs. Now it's time to find out who's retiring this year, if anyone. It's Bobby Charlton. That's a big call. The 90-year-old has finally decided to hang up the boots, with Bobby Moore also doing the same. His fellow countryman Eusebio is also taking part at 86, and Jarzinho. Man, season 4 is going to be infiltrated by some insane regens. We've already seen the regen quality from the Icons, and now all of the older top tier players. At least everyone, yeah, Kenny Dalglish, they're all going. Oh my goodness, it's a wipeout. Hullet's also calling it quits. Man, oh, this is just broken, this career mode world. World football is going to have so many top level ballers now. This icon free agency experiment is really coming into a halt 4 campaigns in. So let's see what we're going to be left with. Alrighty then, it turns out Mikel Arteta wasn't the one making all those icon signings for Arsenal, as he's just had his contract terminated by Burnley. Yeah, so make that one make sense. I forget we're living in an alternate reality right now, as the icons' influence on the world football is slowly dying out with their regens filling in their spots. The retiree list keeps getting bigger every single season, but the real question is, how many are we going to have left come the start of season 4 in the summer of what, 2028 are we in now? Now let's see if you can tell what stars are missing, what icons and heroes have left our transfer shortlist, with Andreas Iniesta now being the highest rated. We've got the regens obviously contesting in there, but the icons are dwindling down, and it's actually one of their own, Toni Kroos, the newest icon, the lowest rated player. 4 years deep into this, 38. He's been degrading down to a 77 overall. They're doing my boy dirty. Eden Hazard is creeping below the green line too. And in terms of our oldest, now we've got players in their 60s. But this is the remaining pack we have been left with, plus some regens. But before we draw the curtain, I do want to take a look at Bobby Charlton's regen, and it's Sam Brown, who has now landed at Chelsea with a whopping 91 to 97 potential at 18. He's already got the inventive playstyle, which I think is new in FC 26. He spawned in at Stamford Bridge, and of course he's got potential to be special, but watch Chelsea loan him out for some reason. And I was also interested in De Kaiser Beckenbauer. He hung up the boots at Liverpool, and now his regen spawned in at Wolves. They're getting lucky. Another massive regen prospect at the Molineux with Benedict Haas, an 18-year-old centre-back, 90 to 96 potential, already 86 rated with an £102.5 million price tag, but he does have potential to be special nonetheless. Jarzinho finished up his career in the Bundesliga and is left behind Wesley Mello, the reincarnation of the Afro specialist. He is at Holston Kiel, so he's helping out the small clubs here, but he only has that exciting prospect status. However, he has got a fair few play styles and that 87 to 93 potential, so he's like a tier down from the last 2 regens we saw. George Best, what have we got here? Robert McHale. He is regenerated a Northern Irish baller in Sicily, 89 to 95 potential, and has that potential to be special. Man, some of these regens need to be studied. We have seen all of what icons have to offer in FC 26 here in the offline realm, here in world football. We've seen them back at their former teams. We've seen them in the international game. We've seen them as free agents, and we've also seen them eventually retire and spawn in their very own regenerated counterparts. We've seen them infiltrate every award show, every nomination, and just completely turn world football right now on its head. If you did go on to enjoy, drop the video a like down below. Make sure to check out the FC 26 mods list, link in the description, to stay in the loop for when fresh new FC 26 mods drop. If you want to use these legends, if you want access to the squad files, that's how you're gonna get it. I've been your boy Sir BCHD. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll catch you all on the very next video. Bye bye.